Hello friends. Today we will discuss SQL not operator. It is very important operator which is useful in many scenarios. This not operator is used in combination with other operators to give the opposite result, also known as negative result. So before we start seeing this particular not operator in the queries, first try to understand what it exactly do. So in SQL, the not operator is a logical operator which is used to negate the result of a condition. It is often used in combination with other logical operators such as and or to create complex conditions in SQL queries. The not operator is primarily used to reverse the logical value of a condition. For example, if a condition evaluates to true, applying the not operator to it will result in false and vice versa. The most common scenario where this operator can be used occurs when there is a specification of what not to include in the result table instead of what to include. For example, we have already created one table named marks. Now I want all the columns from that particular table known as marks, but I don't want where the records where class is 10th. Now instead of specifying all the classes, I can just say not class equal to 10th. बेसिकली यहाँ पे ये मतलब हुआ कि मुझे क्लास 10th के रिकॉर्ड्स नहीं चाहिए, बाकी जो भी क्लासेस के रिकॉर्ड्स हमारी गिवन इनपुट टेबल में है, आई वांट ऑल द कॉलम्स. So this is one of the most common scenario where this not operator is very useful. So we can see this is the query, select star from marks where not class is 10th. So this is the syntax as well as for using not operator. Let's see. So this is the table that we have created. Select star from marks. So I'm again executing this. So this is the table that we are discussing for most of the operators. Here we have 5 columns: name, physics, chemistry, maths and class. Now in this table we have 3 classes: 10th, 11th and 12th. Now I want all the records, all the columns from this table where class is not 10th. जहाँ पे 10th क्लास नहीं है, मुझे सिर्फ वो वाले रिकॉर्ड्स चाहिए. So this is how I will write the query. Select star means all the columns, from the name of the table, where, and I will write not after where. So I will say not class. So I'm not writing class not, but I'm writing not class. So please note it very carefully. And then I am writing 10th. So this part, on executing this query, I will get all the records where classes not 10th but 11th and 12th. So this is very useful to in the scenarios where I don't want to include a particular condition. For example, I just want कि 10th class नहीं होनी चाहिए. अब सारी class जो भी उसमें है, since it's just an example, there are only 3 classes, so I can include manually as well as अगर मुझे class 11th या 12th लिखना हो. But in practical scenarios there are very big tables, and instead of writing कि मुझे क्या क्या चाहिए, I can just say कि I don't want this particular condition. So this is very useful in such scenario. Now syntax. So if we say syntax, it is the syntax select, then column 1, comma, column 2, comma and so on. So we can write required columns if we don't want all the columns, and if we want all the columns we write star, then from, then name of the table, then where not, and then condition. So this is the syntax, and we have already run one query using this syntax only. One very useful and important point here to note is the not operator can also be used in combination with other operators such as in, between and like to negate the result of those conditions. So overall the not operator is a useful tool in SQL for building complex condition and filtering the data based on specific criteria. So we will see one by one these queries that I just mentioned: in, between, like, greater than, less than. First we will see in the presentation, and we will run these queries in the SQL Management Studio. So we also already seen there is a like function. For example, if I'm writing this way, like a %, So this basically means I want all the records where uh, name is starting with A. So in this query, I want select customers that does not start with the letter A. So for for understanding this particular scenario, I have created one more table named customer. So I will show you. But for now, you just see how we are writing the query. I want all the customers that does not start with the letter A. So there are customers, some of whose names are starting with A, then there are other customers whose names are not starting with A. So here I want all the customers whose name doesn't start with letter A. So this is how I will write the query. Select star from customers where name not like A. So this is basically the syntax. So if I'm saying कि मुझे वो सारे नाम चाहिए जहाँ पे A से start हो रहा है, so I write A first and then percent, and since it's a text, I enclosed it in a single quotes where name not like. So if I would have not written this not, that would have meant select star from customer where name like A%. So the query for that particular, the result for that particular query would have been all the customers whose names are starting with A. But here I'm using not operator. So the output will entirely be opposite, and here all the records will come for those customers whose names are not starting with the letter A. Then we can also use a note with between. For example, I want to select all the customer with a customer ID not between 10 and 60. So I will write select star from customers where customer ID not between, where customer ID not between. So this is how I'm writing, and we will run this query in the SQL Management Studio. Then similarly we can have in, so select customer that are not from Paris, or so instead of Paris, since Paris is not in our table, we will say select customer that are not from Berlin or London. So in that scenario, I will write the query like this: select star from customers where city not in. So I'm writing not in for city. So this will give me all the records from customer table जहाँ पे सिटी बर्लिन और लंदन नहीं है. अब कोई भी सिटी हो, बट बर्लिन एंड लंदन should not be there. Similarly, I can select customer with a customer ID not greater than 50. So this is how I will write the query: select star from customers where not customer ID greater than 50. And similarly, I can have a query for select customer with a customer ID not less than 50. Then I will write the query like this. So let's try to understand this from the Management Studio. So this is the new table that I have specifically created to understand these particular use cases. So first I am saying I want to understand not like, where I want all the names from where I want all the details from this table where name is not starting with A. So you can see there are 5 records, and out of these 5 there are 4 records in which name is starting with A, but there is only one single record where name is not starting with A, instead name is starting with B. So let's first execute this query. So I've written this query like this: select star from customers, which is name of table, then where, then name not like, and not like I have written this A. That means starting with A, but I want not, basically that will negate the condition. तो like A से आएगा हमारा all the names जो start A से होते हैं, but I am saying not like, so it will reverse the output and it will give all the customers whose names are not starting with A. So if I execute this query, you can see only one name is coming, on one record is coming in which name is not starting with A but starting with B. Then not between, if I want all the customers whose customer ID is not between 10 and 60. So if you see the main table, we don't have any customer whose customer ID is between 10 and 60. So basically I will get uh, all the table as it is, because we don't have any customer ID whose we don't have any customer whose customer ID is between 10 and 60, not between 10 and 60. We have customer ID just from 1 to 5. So that will negate the condition कि 10 and 60 से बीच के मुझे नहीं नहीं चाहिए थे, मुझे बाकी सब चाहिए था, तो बाकी सब आ गया है क्योंकि 10 and 60 के बीच में कुछ है ही नहीं. Then again, let me show you the table. Now I want to understand in not in operator. Select star from customers where city not in. City should not be Berlin or London. So there are two records for which cities Berlin and London. And if I execute this query, I will get three records in which cities: Mexico City, and then Stockholm. I'm not getting those records where city is Berlin and London because I'm saying not in. I don't want these cities. Then we can have not greater than and not less than as well as. For example, to understand this, select a star from customer where not customer ID greater than 50. So if you have seen the table, there is not a single customer whose ID is starting, whose customer ID is greater than 50. We just have from 1 to 5. So if I execute this query, I will get all the customers as it is, because this condition is not fulfilling any of the records results, because all the customer IDs are less than 50. And since I have used not, that has negate the final output by giving the entire table as it is. Now if I say not less than, so all the customer IDs are less than 50. So I'm saying not customer ID less than 50. So basically I don't have any record where which is greater than 50, because when I'm saying not customer ID greater than less than 50, that indirectly means customer ID should be greater than 50, and I don't have any customer ID which is greater than 50. So I will get nothing basically. Yeah, you can see I'm not getting any output here because there are no records where customer ID is greater than 50. So this is how we can take the help of not operator. I hope you find this video useful, and you get the clarity how we can use not, and what are basically common scenarios where a not is very useful. So we will meet you in the next video now. Thank you.